If you're watching this video, then I am dead. It's not true. I just always wanted to say that. I've been waiting to wear this T-shirt. I don't know if you can see it past the mic. It says, "This ain't my first rodeo." Now, why am I wearing this T-shirt that Sam would say is cringe? I know. It's because I actually want to give you a little gift. The gift is something that I actually have mentioned on here, but I want to make a bit more of a fuss about it or give you a little bit of extra info about it. And it's a technique I use ever since it was taught to me by my then university lecturer in my coaching diploma at Curtin, Peter Slocombe. Now, you might know of Peter Slocombe because she's very well known in Perth, highly regarded and rightly so, an amazing therapist and, as a speaker, man. So she was my lecturer amongst everything else she's done. And I had to do some coaching as my prac. I was at a law firm and my role was to ask random lawyers if they wanted me to coach them. And I was very scared that they would say no, because if they said no, I couldn't get enough numbers to complete my prac and it would be a whole thing. I almost said frack. I think that's because I saw a sticker today about stop fracking. Stop fracking. That's not the point of this. So what did she say to me and what made all the difference and what has continued to make a huge difference in all the years since? So it's 17, coming up 18 years since she taught me that. And it's probably one of the single best pieces of advice I've ever had, probably competing with when you feel resentment, you drink the poison and hope the other person dies. So be assertive or forget it, or pretend to have a conversation with the person and then forget it. But that's not the thing I'm here to talk to you about. If you're getting this video, you already know me. Nothing I'm saying so far will be a surprise. So the thing I want to tell you about is being okay with no. Now, if you're already okay with no, I am delighted and I'm glad this is of no use to you. You can literally leave now. If you are like most of us and find no a very daunting prospect, I just want to say a couple of things about both how she gave me the information, but also how I've used it since and how you might. So I was very worried, what if the lawyers say no? And she said really breezily, she said, look, just be okay with the no. Just don't be attached to the outcome. When I did my self-landmark about 20 years ago, one of their lines amongst many was be committed to the outcome but not attached. And what that means is, if I can say it eloquently, when one is committed to an outcome, it's where our focus is, it's what we want, but we're not attached. We don't have it that it's life and death. We don't have it if it doesn't work out, something bad's going to happen. And this is what she was saying around being okay with no. Be committed. You want them to do the coaching, but you're not attached. Like if they say no, it's okay. And in getting that, which I got instantly and applied instantly, and of course everyone wanted coaching then, I've used it ever since, and certainly in my professional life, let alone my private life, but more professionally, I think. I definitely didn't want Andy to say no when I said I liked him. I don't know if I would have done well with the no there, but could have been a useful approach, you know. What's meant for you will never go by you. My favourite Scottish saying. Do you already know it, Dan? It's so beautiful. What's meant for you will never go by you. That means if you're single and sad, the right person hasn't come yet. If something doesn't happen that you wanted to happen, if it was right, it would have happened. It's a very soothing concept. Danny Boy taught it to me, the very cute Scottish comedian. Thanks, Danny Boy. Love you. Where was I? So, what's meant for you will never go by you, because if you're okay with no, you have this wonderful freedom, but magically it gives the other person freedom. So any of you who have to sell something, and of course in life we're all selling all the time, even if we're not salespeople, we're selling projects to our manager, we're selling us to get hired in a job, we're selling us to dates, we're selling ideas to our partners. We're all in sales. A lot of people pretend they're not or don't like the term, but Sales is fine. Sales is just getting an outcome for both people. And it ties in very much to this concept. So if you're okay with no, whatever you're talking to someone about, you have absolute freedom because you're not attached, you're easy. And more importantly, they have absolute freedom. The reason I thought of this one first was just how useful it's been. As a coach, if I say to someone when we first meet, listen, you will like to work with me, you won't like to work with me, it's absolutely up to you, no problem at all, whatever you decide. I don't know. Oh, I do know. I had one person once, so I will have coached in the hundreds now. It might be in the thousands, but I had one person once say, I'd prefer to work with Andy. I shouldn't laugh, but it's so obvious why they said that, because they were literally probably the most introverted person I've ever met, and they were just terrified of me. I mean, understandable, right? But one out of hundreds or thousands. And also your own experience internally is so light, it's so free. And, you know, when Discern was new, we had a lot of financial pressure. Both of us were in the business. We literally didn't know if we were going to survive financially. Our identities were on the line, our egos were on the line, our dreams were on the line. But because of this idea of being okay with the no, I really think it's actually ironically what helped grow the business to where it is today. And because we continue to take that approach, it allows people to say yes. It's just that ironic idea. If you're okay with the no, they're more likely to say yes because they just are not feeling your pressure, your fear, you making it about yourself. It's kind of like when I talk about public speaking, and I'll say more about this in another video, but, you know, if you make it about the audience, you're going to do better. You'll be a lot less nervous, but they'll notice it's about them. Anxiety is really selfish. Like, I don't mean that meanly for people who are anxious. I'm anxious and it's been a big problem, but it's not about other people, right? It's about one's own fear. So if we reduce the anxiety around no and go, you do whatever you want. I'm here if you want me, and I'm not if you don't. And I am A-OK either way. Oh, every time I say it, I just get back in touch with the freedom it has brought me and, like I'm saying, ironically, the success. So if you're already doing it, well done, and you're probably not even watching or listening anymore. If you don't do it and you've just learnt something of all the skills you could bring on, please start using it. It's my gift to you. It's a life changer. Thanks to Peter Slocombe for mentioning it. Thanks for Landmark for having their version. Committed, not attached. Committed, not attached. Yeah, the freedom. I recorded that video some weeks ago, and since then, as is my wont, I've realised that I'm not okay with no. Bloody hell, like, just when I think I'm sorted, I'm not sorted. I've actually got to give up the idea that as a human being you can be sorted because, you know, we just practice things until we die, right? But I needed to share with you because I promised if I realised I'd been inauthentic that I would tell you the truth, that I had a realisation yesterday about how I'm totally not okay with no. Actually, I totally haven't been okay with no. I'm actually in a process of freedom, but I'll share that too. So in the video, of course, if you've just watched it, I have talked about being okay with no in moments. So as customer who doesn't want your product, a coachee who doesn't want coaching. In that way, I am practiced. I know what I'm doing. Everything I said in the last video was true. But the sad realisation I had yesterday was up until very recently, and I'm still having to practice this because it's so new after 40 years of doing the other, I'm not okay with no. I'm not okay with no in the biggest way. And the way I haven't been okay with no is in making sure that people like me. It was really a disappointing shock to realise that in the most useful way, I wasn't okay with no. And how it came about was I was talking to a friend online and I said something jokey and they didn't reply. And I thought, have I offended them? And then because I'm practicing being okay with myself and loving myself and being on my own side and actually practicing, this is so strange, I don't know if any of you can do this, not worrying what people think. Have you heard of that one, Dan? Not worrying what people think. You've heard of it. My girlfriend said to me the other day, who's also a very caring person, we both like to help people, she said, you know, if they're disappointed, that's them, not you. You don't have to do everything for everyone. And then I gasped, and then she laughed because we understand one another. And this ties into the idea of not everyone has to like you. What a thought. So much freedom. But it feels so risky. Even though I know not everyone likes me, but I like to pretend they do and make sure they do as best as possible. I watch people all the time say, oh, this used to worry me, but now I've got it. I was watching Drag Race last night and a 23-year-old said, I know who I am and I am so proud of me. And it was true. They weren't even making it up. They weren't even trying to be secure. They were actually secure. I'm going to comfort myself and those of us from my generation and go, younger people had different parents to us and there might have been a little bit more you're okay going on. If that soothed you, wonderful, because I find it can soothe me. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, being okay with no. So I realised, shockingly, I was okay with no in small moments, but I wasn't okay with no in big moments. Imagine the freedom available if I'm okay with no in the big moments, if I don't care what people think of me, if I don't help everyone that I think might need help, if I choose me over someone who doesn't treat me well and I feel like I need to look after them out of obligation. I can feel it as I say it, a lot of you have already got this. Your life has been really much better than mine. But it's good to get it now, both to realise that whilst I was on my high horse trying to tell you guys how to be with no, I hadn't been, but also how life-changing being with this kind of no is, and how being for oneself, which I feel like I am for the first time, and letting people be for themselves, and as a part of it, being okay with no, yeah, the same freedom's available, as I mentioned earlier, but just on a much larger scale. It's very exciting and disappointing to realise I hadn't got it. Welcome to my life. See you next time.